not subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend that you subscribe. But if you've already subscribed to my channel, I just want to say thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching my videos. So today we'll be talking about hosting. And this is important because once you win your green card lottery or your DV lottery, you will not be able to come to the United States if you do not have a host. You need a host address when you complete your DS-260, and then you'll need it when you go to the embassy. So they need to know when you come to the US where you'll be staying. They don't want you to come to the US and be homeless. So this video is going to be focusing about hosting. I'll do another video that'll be focusing on affidavit of support, sponsorship, which is two different things. So when you win the green card lottery, you might need an affidavit of support, which is a sponsor, and then you might need hosting. It can be one and the same person, or it can be two people providing these two items. So some countries require both, and some countries they don't require affidavit of support, they just require you to have a host. So this video is going to be about host. The reason why I'm talking about hosting is because we'll be connecting people to host in the United States on NAFULAconnect.com. And before I even show you or explain to you how to request for hosting when you win the green card lottery, it's important to understand what happens in the background. Because sometimes you don't explain to people and then they don't know what's happening. So sometimes to you, when I bring the final product, usually it's easy, you just sign up and then you get a host. But then on my end, it has not been smooth. I'm gonna tell you what happened when I first began doing the hosting. So I started my YouTube channel last year in September. So I haven't been a YouTuber for a very long time. So when I started YouTube, I wanted to post videos about, showing my farming because, back home, I never used to go to the chamber. I never did anything with farming. So when I came to America, I developed a passion for it and I wanted to do something showing gardening and stuff like that. And then I uploaded a video about green card lottery and people were interested in that more than they were interested in my farming. So I decided to continue doing green card lottery videos because it's helping a lot of people, right? When I started doing DV lottery videos, I didn't realize how much, as much as I'm introducing people to a new thing, one thing I didn't realize is there's some people who will apply for the green card lottery, win, and don't know anybody in the United States. So when that dawned on me and I'm you know what, I need to help a couple people. So I realized most of those people have places to go, but then there's some selected few that don't have a place to go. And this comes from the realization there's this girl from Kenya. I don't know if she watches my videos. So if she's watching this video, probably she'll know I'm talking about her. She doesn't know me, I don't know her. But I know her through a family member. So her aunt lives here. Aunt, when I say aunt, I'm talking about this lady, their siblings, same mother, same father. So this girl won DV lottery in 2021, which means she applied in 2020. So in 2021, she won the DV lottery. Her case number was in the 2000s. So she will have gotten an interview really quick. So she reached out to the aunt who lives here. She lives in New York. And asked her you know what, I won the DV lottery. I don't know anybody in the United States. Can you host me? Can you help me with information to put in my application so that I can be able to come there as a DV lottery winner? And guess what? The aunt refused to provide that information. And why is that? Because I guess this girl, she moved to the coastal province in Mombasa in Kenya, and she was not doing the right thing. She was she was 22. So over there, she was doing a bunch of stuff that, the family members were not very impressed with that. And then she won the DV lottery, and then they were not in good terms with the aunt over here. So when she won the DV lottery, the aunt completely refused to accommodate her. So that way, she never made it to America. She never processed a DV lottery winnings. And what am I telling you this story? Because sometimes you just realize people are just when I say people don't have places to go, some people know people in America and they will not give them their information. So not everybody in your family is ready to help people out, because some people, they take something, a grudge that you did years ago, maybe you disagreed, you fell out years ago, they still carry that when you win the green card lottery now, they don't realize they're giving you an opportunity to come here and even change your life. They just think of something that you did to them, they're holding it against you. So for this girl, because she was considered like she was disrespectful to the aunt at some point in their whatever interaction, I don't know, she was not able to make it to the United States. But to be honest, if I knew this girl, like if I had the phone number and everything like that, I would have given that girl my address. Because guess what? Look at, like when you are like 18 years old, what were you doing? You were doing a bunch of crazy stuff. But then when you grow up, you come to a realization that you need to change your life around. So there's some people who are like maybe at home, they were partying, they were doing crazy stuff at home, but then you meet them and they're maybe in their 30s and in their 40s or in their 50s, and they're completely different people. So don't judge somebody based off what you knew when they were young. So if I was the one, I would have given that girl an address. But anyhow, she did not make it to the United States. That brings us to the hosting. So when I talk about people who don't have hosting, some people don't realize what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people like this girl. So if this girl, if I had YouTube back then in 2021, probably she would have applied to be hosted at NAFULAconnect.com and she would have made it here. So when I started the hosting on NAFULAconnect.com, my goal was to provide free hosting. So I wanted to pair somebody from Africa, from whatever country that participates in the Greencard lottery program, to somebody, people who actually live here. And when I did that, I was in a group. It was a Kenyan group. It's an American group. It's a Kenyan group. I'm not going to say the name, but it's a Kenyan group with a lot of people from America. But all of them are from Kenya. They're here either on whatever status they are, but they're here, they have houses. So my goal was like, if I reach out to people in that group to sign up, and I know a lot of people in that group, most of them are women, so they need childcare. So if you need childcare, I know like if I pair you with somebody from Africa or whatever who needs a place to stay, they will help you with childcare while at least we pay a lot of money for childcare. And most of my childcare has been like people, all my nannies have been immigrants, to be honest with you. Because I like immigrants, they understand immigrant problems. I don't know. Because if I tell them about, kids not having food, don't waste food, they won't waste food because they've lived through that. You know what I mean? So most of my nannies, 100%, including the one I have right now, usually they're immigrants. So my hosting was going to target like this Kenyan community in this Kenyan group. So it was a Kenyan American group, like I said. So I kept posting like, green card videos. When I started green card videos, and I realized a lot of people don't know about it. And I'm like, people can benefit from this information. So I started posting everywhere. Like if you see my Facebook, I have like a lot of videos about green card that I post. So I posted those videos, and within like, let's say, maybe a month or something like that, I was kicked out of the group. Within a month, I was kicked out of the group. I don't know what I violated. I have no idea. I was just posting like, okay, please sign up to be a host in America. And I was kicked out of a Kenyan group because of that. I don't know why. Maybe one day I'll know. But anyhow, so I was dependent on that group because I knew there was a lot of Kenyans in that group that will host these people. But then now look at me. I've been kicked out of the group. Usually I don't get kicked out of many places. And usually they tell you like, this is what you did, but they never said anything. They just kicked me out. So I was dependent on people from there to sign up. But then now I'm kicked out, so I'm stuck. So NAFULA is here with a bunch of people who want hosting. I can only host 2 people max. And so I had like a bunch of people sign up, like 3 other people. But then the place that I depended on getting like a huge chunk of hosts, because I know there's women who need childcare, NAFULA has been kicked out of the group. Now what? Usually I have a plan B for everything. Usually when I start a business, I do something, I have a plan B. I have a YouTube channel, but I also have a full-time job. Why? Because I need my retirement. And also I know like if the owner of YouTube wakes up tomorrow and shuts everything down, I don't want to end up with no income. So usually I have a plan B for everything, but I did not have plan B for hosting. So when I was kicked out at the beginning, I was like, how am I going to navigate this? But then after a while, I'm like, what? God does not make something happen when he doesn't know what's going to be next. God gave me the idea of starting this hosting program. He knew I was going to find a way. He knew I had the capability of finding a way. In my mind, I just depended on other people knowing that all these women in America will sign up to host people, but then now I'm kicked out of the group so that God can broaden my view to see other channels. Because if I stayed in there, I wouldn't have seen these other channels. And after I was kicked out of that group, then I started like, okay, let me expand. Usually I have like, Airbnb business. So I know like, what, in case anything, if anybody needs hosting and already signed up and I already promised them a host, I can just, put them in one of my Airbnbs, and then, they can stay there for 3 months, they get a job and then get their own place. So I know how to plan B for my Airbnbs, right? But that's not gonna be enough, right? So I started reaching out to my friends. I started reaching out to other people that I will never have thought of reaching out. I'm like, do you have like a single room that you can help somebody who wins a green card lottery? And after a while, just people just like started signing up, the people that I know personally. And I put it on my YouTube, and then I had more people signing up. So that's how my hosting program started. So we started from a point where we were signing people up, but I didn't know where I was gonna put these people. So that's why I had to act really quick to get to get these places that I can put people. So with the hosting, so if you win the green card lottery, you go to NAFULAconnect.com and you're gonna click on the host and guest pairing. So if you're a DV lottery winner, you only sign up after you've won, because we need your confirmation number, we need all those information so that you see what your case number is, so that we know when you're coming, like we guesstimate when you'll be in America, so that we make the arrangements for hosting for you, versus like if somebody has like a 4,000 case number versus a 60,000 case number. We know the 4,000 is gonna be here first versus the 60,000. So you sign up on NAFULAconnect.com, you enter all your information, and then once you get all the information, we'll call you, and then we'll discuss options that we have, and then we go with one. So before I was just pairing people for free, but then I realized some people have a plan B, so they just reach out and then they try to get a place. So they hold a place, but then they're not gonna come because they have this other place. They call and then they're like, okay. So now if you sign up, if you're gonna use our hosting services, you have to pay $50 to be paired, regardless of what. Otherwise, if you don't pay $50, it goes to the next person, because you're not gonna hold a spot when you're not gonna use it. You're not just gonna sign up to different people hoping like you'll go to wherever you like. Trying to help people who actually do not have a place to stay in America or do not know anybody. So that's why when you sign up, if we have to pay you, you'll pay $50 to keep the hosting. If you haven't watched my video on how the hosting program works, I'm gonna put a link on this video so you can see how the program works. Sometimes you can pay money per month. Sometimes you can agree to either do childcare and then you don't have to pay rent. You can just pay like maybe utilities and stuff like that. Or sometimes if like you're getting hosted by somebody who owns apartments and they wanna rent it for you, you will have to make a payment, but usually it doesn't go over $500. So now, what are the requirements to qualify for our hosting? One, you have to have won the DV lottery. That's one. Number two, you have to, just tell us like you don't have anybody here, we believe you. So if you have anybody, don't try to lie. Just be upfront, just know like you don't want to take an opportunity that could help somebody else. So if you don't have anybody in the US, that's the second requirement. The third requirement, you have to know how to drive. We will not host you if you do not know how to drive. So between now and when you get your interview or you get your visa, you need to go for driving lessons. Why? Because driving lessons in America, they're very expensive, and getting somebody who's gonna give you their car to use is gonna be a problem. Because we are hosting a lot of people, so we wanna get you here, stable, get your own apartment and get out. So if you don't know how to drive, how are you gonna get out? How are you gonna get to work? It's gonna be challenging for you. So you have 100%, you have to prove you know how to drive before we can host you. The other requirement for hosting, we only host people, but no kids are allowed. Why? Because if you're gonna be stable in 3 months and move out, if you have kids, that's not gonna happen. So what do? So if you are single and you have kids, or if you're a couple and you have kids, we'll just accommodate either the couple or the single person. And how does this work? So you will go ahead and process the visa, you together with your kids, you all process your visa. That visa is valid for 6 months. So we will just host you or the couple. You come here for 3 months, and then after 3 months, you get a job, you get your own apartment, and within 6 months or within 5 months, once you have your own place, you can bring your kids. We will not host you with kids. One, because childcare in America is a little bit crazy here. So it's not like if you have to go to work, who are you going to leave your kid with? Nobody's going to be watching your kid for free. And because you're starting life, you wouldn't be able to afford paying childcare. So we only host people, but no kids allowed. If you want your kids here, you come here 3 months, you get a job. Once you find your own place, that visa is still valid for 6 months. You bring your kids in your own place. If we have a host maybe who signs up in a different state or whatever, even here, who's ready to accommodate kids, we can pair you with them. But if we don't have anybody who has the capability for accommodating kids, then you'll just have to come alone, or come you with your husband, and then you have to work hard, you get a place and bring your kids over. But then in our accommodation, because usually it's short term, it's temporary, get here, we get you a job, we have people who've signed up with agencies who'll help you get a job. So it's not gonna be like, a good professional job. You're gonna start with minimum wage jobs, and then you'll work your way into finding another job. This job is just to get you stable, to get yourself an apartment, and then you can work your way into getting something else. And not a lot of people signing up want kids. That's what I realized. Just make sure, when you come here, you can work hard, and it's possible. Like in New York, there's a lot of jobs. So when you come here, and don't worry about the cost of living in New York. People have this bad misconception. If you live in New York City, very expensive over there. Where I live and around the surrounding areas, there's some places that the houses are not that expensive. So if you get a job, you don't have to live in the suburbs or live in the good neighborhoods first. You can just live in a regular neighborhood, work your way around. Like when we came here, we didn't start living in the suburbs. We started living in places where it was just like regular apartments and stuff like that. So you live there and you work your way until you leave wherever you want to go live. To be hosted by us, make sure you're self-driven, motivated to work hard. You're gonna be here. When you get here, you have to be stable, really quick, get your own place so that somebody else can use that space. Also, you have to learn how to drive. So even if you haven't won the green card, start asking your friend to teach you how to drive, because learning how to drive in America is really hard. And the other day, for only 14 lessons of driving is $1,500 for 14 lessons, and one lesson is 45 minutes. So 45 minutes is 1,500. So and then it's not guaranteed that you'll pass the driving test. So you might need more lessons than 14. So that's expensive. That's very expensive. In Africa, it's cheap. I think you can pay I don't know how much it is, but I know probably with $100, you can get a couple lessons in there. So we ask about the driving. You don't need to get a driver's license or driving license. We're not looking for that. You don't need a driving license in Africa because it won't apply here. You just need to know how to drive. Don't get a license. Just ask your friend, your neighbor, anybody, somebody in church, somebody in the mosque, somebody who owns a car. You're like, I won a green card lottery, please teach me how to drive. So once you learn how to move a car, you approve, you will send us a video, you driving the car, then we will host you, because we know after we get to your job, we will help you maybe get financing for getting a car, or somebody rents a car for you. You will be able to drive to work and back. We want you to be independent as quickly as possible. So one, you have to know how to drive. 2, self-motivated. And 3, you can be stable, quicker, and then out of, get your own place. And also, if you're disabled or something like that, we don't discriminate against that. If you're disabled, we will try to find somebody who's a host who signed up and they can accommodate you. But for this hosting that we're trying to get people here in and stable, you will not be able to qualify for that, because we need somebody who gets here and starts working full time. So if you're disabled, that's going to be a challenge. So we'll have to find you somebody else who can accommodate you and who's a little bit lenient, doesn't need you to be stable as fast. So we will try to help as many people as we can. We can just use the same space and host a lot of people, because if you're just staying there 3 months out, we'll help a lot of people versus somebody who's coming to stay there for a year. For the hosting, for the guest, you just go to nafulaconnect.com and click on guest and host pairing, and you go to the tab that says DV lottery winner. The form is there and you're gonna fill in your information. Do not fill this form if you have not won the green card lottery. You have to win the green card lottery to complete the form, because if you don't put in the confirmation number and whatever, you just enter your information, it will be rejected. So just make sure like the information you enter there, a DV lottery winner who needs hosting. But if you know, like you have not won the green card lottery, there's no point of pre-applying, because they'll just be voided anyways. So just make sure you fill the form only if you have won the DV lottery. So if you are a host in the United States, so if you're watching me and you're a host, you're either an African in the United States, somebody helped you when you got here and you want to give back, you want to host people who don't have places to go, you can sign up on my website, nafulaconnect.com. You can sign up to be a host, and that way when you have a green card lottery winner who doesn't have a place to stay, you can host them, you can charge them depending on whatever you want, you can charge them. And then if they call, usually we recommend you charge less than $500, and then we'll pair the guest with you, and then that way, you know what, they can help you with childcare, they can help you if you want them to pay. So both of you will be like, it's a win-win situation. So we'll try to help as many people as we can, and then if we can't, we'll be like, you know what, at least we tried. So we don't want anybody to miss an opportunity to come to the United States because they don't have hosting plans. If you win the green card lottery and you do not have a place to stay, you don't know anybody in the United States, you can go to nafulaconnect.com, which is nafulaconnect.com, click on the guest and host pairing, and then when you click on that, it will bring you to this page here, and here we can help you find a host. If you need to request for hosting, you just go down here, it says DV lottery winner sign up. So you're just going to sign your name, your date of birth, your country, and then confirmation number and all this information. If you do not provide all this information, we will not pay you. So you have to provide all this information. Also, if you're in America and you're interested in hosting somebody, maybe you want to help people out, you can also sign up to be a host on our website, and then you can provide your information here. If you need single or you're going to accommodate a family, you just let us know. And then also, like, if we pair you with a host, you have to pay the $50 so that we make sure like everybody who applies really need the hosting. We don't want just anybody who has hosting and then they just apply just to see. So if we pair you with a host here, you have to pay the $50 to keep the spot. Otherwise, it will go to somebody else. So if you want to contact us, you can go to nafulaconnect.com, and then you're going to click on the about contact, and then it's going to bring you down here to this page, and it shows you how to contact us. So the best way is to send an email to nafulaconnect@gmail.com. Also, another alternative is just put your last name, first name, your email address, phone number, and the message, and it will still go to nafulaconnect@gmail.com. If you want to contact us on social media, this is our YouTube, this is our Facebook, this is our Instagram, and this is our Twitter. We don't use Twitter as much, but then you can leave a message on our YouTube videos, or you can just click on this link. If you click on one of these, like if I click on my YouTube, it's just gonna go straight to my YouTube. So that's how to contact us. So send us a message if you have any questions in regards to hosting NAFULA Academy. You can send us a message. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.